You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Fidelity's Option Trade Builder tool can help you confidently build an options trade in 3 simple steps. Just choose a strategy, select a contract, and then review the benefits and risks of the trade. Learn more about Option Trade Builder at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Join us now for the expert source for inside information on the options markets. It's time for Options Insider Radio with your host, Mark Longo.
All right, everybody. That music means it's time once again for Options Insider Radio, the interview program here on the old network where we welcome on guests from throughout the world of options and derivatives and proceed to pick their brains for the benefit of you, the listener. And next up on the old interview program is a newcomer to the show and indeed to the network. He is Bernie Schwartz, the Trading Technologies Options Product Manager. Well, you must have a long business card over there at TT. Bernie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Bernie, as we are wont to do with all of our first-timers here on the network, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of an overview of your background in the options space and how you found your way over there to becoming the options guy over there at TT.
Sure thing. I started on the floor of the SIBO in 01. Started out clerking and then trading for a market-making firm.
Which pits were you in out there?
I was in mostly index pits and the NASDAQ and the SPX. And, OEX was kind of dying out at that time. So
2001 OEX was a pale shadow of its former self.
Yeah, that's right. I caught the tail end of the OEX trend. So I spent some time in there and mostly in the SPX and the NASDAQ. I moved over to the Merc and did sort of some of the same trade. Went in the Eurodollar pit for a while there before I moved upstairs and started trading on the desk. When I did, we were building out our electronic platform. It was proprietary, but I got a hand in requirements and in building that. And once I was working for a firm called Blue Capital. Once we closed our doors, looked for a couple other opportunities, smaller opportunities, and finally kind of made my way into the software space. And that's how I wound up with Trading Technologies. And it was just kind of a very serendipitous marriage. I started out at Trading Technologies, not in a product role, but as they were looking to build out their options functionality, I saw an opening for myself and sort of jumped on it and have been working on that since.
They need an end user, right? Someone who could sit there and say, hey, here's what we need. Here's the functionality that the hardcores demand. And then you build from there. So it sounds like you spent some time in a lot of the big pits, the SPX and the Eurodollars. I never actually traded out in the Eurodollars. I know in the height of its day, Eurodollar was kind of madness. So you've spent some time in some interesting pits over there. Speaking of time, it's been quite a while since we've had a chance to check in with you guys. Probably back since the early days of our Trading Tech Talk program, where we used to talk a lot at the time about what you guys had planned for options functionality over there at TT. I know you've been working quite diligently in the years in the interim, so you guys have done a lot they brought you on. So that's a good first step there. So give us kind of a bit of an overview, Bernie. Obviously, it's a lot. Kind of get us up to speed for our audience here. Kind of what has TT done to really overhaul or indeed even create its options functionality?
Yeah, well, look, TT really had no options functionality for a good 20 years or so.
I was being charitable, sir.
I know you were. Thank you. We really built an options platform from the ground up. We've always had execution capabilities, and that's fine. But what we've done now is we've added, I'll call it a full suite of options tools, vol curve manager, different views into the options market. We're working on a couple of algos to do that. But really, what we're providing is real Greeks and Theos and analytics for every market which we support. We're obviously started the CME. That's a no-brainer. Moving on to other markets, but what we're really trying to do is provide Theos and Greeks and analytic capabilities, which we never had before.
So all the kind of basic functionality people expect, when they come into a full service options, analytics, and execution suite. They want to be able to adjust their SKUs. They want to be able to see their SKUs. They want to be able to readily see their Greeks. Also, complex spread functionality is a big driver for a lot of the hardcore, the bleeding edge. Certainly for people in our audience, both retail and professional, they like to be able to do their fancy 1x3 iron condor swaps and all that fun stuff. So what have you guys built out in that space to keep those people happy?
That's been thanks for that intro. It's been a big focus for us this year is enhanced strategy creation capabilities. So creating strategies from an options chain or from your sheets or from a standalone widget. And what we are able to do is link our strategy creation tools with any other widget in the platform, so that you can view legs and amend strategies that exist, create your own, anything that support the exchange, or certainly user-defined strategies as well.
It's funny I had you here. We just had a question on our futures options show that we do every week with CME and FTSE Russell and a few others. We just talked about it a couple of days ago. I guess it's appropriate to bring it up with you. They saw a listener asked, and I'm blanking on their name, so I apologize, but they asked how easy is it for a lot of futures options FCMs to execute trades delta neutral on the futures options side? So I'd imagine that's pretty robust functionality you guys have incorporated. Bernie, here you go. I'm giving you a softball. How easy is it for you guys, for that listener whose name I'm forgetting, how easy is it for them to come on your platform and put up a delta neutral futures options trade?
Incredibly easy, and thanks for the softball. It's as easy as simply adding a futures leg to any strategy, and we get these kind of questions constantly. I'm really surprised, even from my time in the pit, we had just started when I was sort of exiting the pit in 07, 08 and moving upstairs. We just started, covered trades were really sort of taking over, and now it's just about everything you see is covered. Everything is laid up. Everything's got a hedge attached to it. So we've made that functionality really easy. Any strategy you create, you can throw a future leg on there, dictate your price in delta, and it's really as simple as just adding a leg to an existing spread.
Well, there you go, unnamed listener. Hopefully, you're happy with all the different answers you've gotten over the past. They get so much love here on the network, Bernie. They get answered multiple times here on the old show. But I'm curious, in every broker that kind of comes through here, and every platform kind of vendor, they all have kind of what they term their secret sauce. Maybe they're super fast. Maybe they have the best GUI on the planet, or at least they think so. Maybe they have some special other, thing that really sets them apart from the rest of the pack. Obviously, you guys are in some cases playing catch up at TT in terms of what's out there. But what do you think for you guys? If you had to say, here's the secret sauce, here's the go-to thing that people really want to come to us for. This is what our shining feature of our platform. What would you say that is?
You gave me the lead in already with strategy creation. I think we do that a whole lot better than most other platforms. When it comes to delta neutral. But really what sets us apart and what makes our offering stand out is that it's integrated. We can give you everything on one screen. We can give you the options functionality, the options execution, and analytics capability, along with about our futures capabilities. And we're really just looking for the opportunity to consolidate. We see a lot of people out there that are using multiple platforms. We can consolidate onto one at an incredibly reasonable cost.
Speaking of consolidation, or maybe just shrinking, last time you guys were on, the big push, I know at TT, you had a very heavy, very big, large kind of client install, which in this day and age is rough for a lot of people to manage. They're used to very streamlined. So I know you guys are making a big push into HTML5, making a big responsive platform. I'm assuming in the intervening years that's complete. How has that push into a more mobile-focused, thin client kind of responsive platform? How's that going over there?
I've been amazed at how well it's been received. You know, when I started at TT, we were making this move into a lighter platform and away from our very old, as you say, very heavy installation. And to be perfectly frank, I was dubious when I joined, but I've really things.
It
really
was a big,
around.
heavy client to port over. There's a lot of functionality in there that you had to recreate.
There, and we're still working on it. We're just about there, but not quite. We did announce a sunset date for XTrader for the old platform. We're fully committed and full steam ahead with our lightweight platform, which we're just calling TT to be extra confusing.
That's
but right, the reception has been fantastic. There was a lot of concern from the entire industry for a long time about security and performance and stability, and all of those concerns have really been put to rest. And now we get to focus on the cool stuff. We get to build new options functionality. We get to build. I can go on about all the new stuff that we're doing, but it allows us to innovate quickly, to make changes quickly, and to respond. And it's an exciting place to be.
And how robust is that? That thin client, even on the mobile side. I often joke here on the network that the goal for so many people out there is to be able to run a hedge fund or to run a prop shop from a beach in Tahiti or something like that. So assuming you had the bandwidth, what kind of stuff can you do on your iPhone these days on the mobile TT platform? Is it pretty much fully feature realized? What can you do on the mobile version?
No, the mobile app is far from fully realized, but that doesn't really speak to trading from the beach. You can absolutely do that. Bring your laptop, and fire up your workspace and go. And that's really where the mobility comes into play. The mobile app itself has a ways to go to catch up. Certainly, you can manage your positions. You can run algos from the mobile app, but the mobility of the platform as a whole is what's exciting. And so we do have I did have a guy trading on the beach in Brisbane or something, and complaining about connectivity. So we had to deal with that.
There you go. You're doing something right then. If they have to be complaining about something, and at least connectivity on the beach is out of your control there. One of the other big pushes we see in the option space these days from the vendors and from the brokers is trying to create more of the idea generation side. People come onto your platform, they have all these sweet tools, sweet analytics, then you also can help them figure out what to do with that. Here's a trade idea. Here's maybe some interesting areas you may want to look. Volatility is rich here. It's low here. Are you guys doing anything on that front that's particularly interesting?
Yeah, you're really giving me some great lead-ins here. You're doing half my job for me.
I've been doing this for a little while.
Right. In terms of idea generation, we've got this fantastic algo design lab that has been around forever, and the push for the rest of this year, but really more into next year, is integrating options capabilities with our suite of algo tools. So we're gonna have a couple of canned algos that we'll deploy and users can use, but in terms of customization, in terms of unique strategies and ideas, the world is wide open. We've got our ADL is it's essentially visual programming language where users can design any algos they want based on any criteria they want, and when they're able to do that for options, the possibilities are really endless. In addition, we're looking at trading in the vol space rather than price in premium space. So we're dipping our toe into that water, and when we let users, or when we give them the tools to arb vol rather than price, it's going to be real exciting.
That is a surprisingly requested feature from a lot of our audience. How come I can't quote in vol? I can't trade in vol? So I'm glad to hear you're offering it. That's one more for them. What about some more direct kind of basic functionality, but still people expect it? Things like basic scanners, like scan for unusual volume, changes in open interest, changes in volatility, that sort of thing.
That's all going to come with integration into the Algo Lab. But basic function, basic electronic eye functionality and looking for trade opportunities. That's there right now, be it through the UI on your sheets or watching the market, looking for those opportunities programmatically. Will come. We've got some work to do there to make that fully realize that capability.
And you just, speaking of realizing capability, you just announced a big partnership with a brokerage firm. Most people are probably familiar with TradeStation. Walk us through how that came about and what is the goal with this partnership with TradeStation?
The goal with TradeStation, it's really exciting. You know, what we're providing our screen, and by the way, it's full functionality of the TT platform. We're providing to TradeStation and their users. So anybody who is looking to trade options on futures or futures themselves, in fact, can now through TradeStation get a TT screen. So we're not restricting any functionality. They're going to have some really professional tools that I think they may not have had before, leading up to this point. And this kind of trader that TradeStation that's often a customer and that we're kind of looking at is this sort of between retail and prosumer, that's the word I'm looking for. This sort of trader who's very educated, especially when it comes to options and with all this kind of knowledge out there. And is looking for some professional grade tools where they may have not been a professional trader in the past. So we're really uniquely positioned to offer that. So our agreement with TradeStation is, they can distribute our screen to just about anybody they offer options on futures to, and it's exciting for us. It's a new segment of users that we haven't really touched before. We've hung our hat on being institutional grade professional software, and we still are that. But that has in the past restricted us from reaching a segment of users, or perhaps those users are intimidated by the idea of professional grade software, institutional grade software.
Yeah, that's been a conversation I used to have with your guys years ago. That there was this evolving other side of the market. You call them prosumer, you call them high-end retail, call them what you will, but that segment of the audience has clearly exploded in the past 5 or 10 years. And so having something that's available to them, these guys are out there. We see them all the time. They can do size. A lot of them are former market makers like you and I, who are now running around in retail accounts. So they expect portfolio margin, they expect great execution, great tools, and they could do a decent amount of size, and they're pretty sophisticated on top of it. So that middle area, that kind of gray area of the space where it used to be institutional was here and retail was here, that middle area is where there's been so much of the evolution of the space over the last 5 or 10 years. Certainly since we've been doing this, so we've seen that area has just exploded with all sorts of things. So having something that targets that audience, you're right, is a no-brainer in this day and age. And TradeStation is an interesting one to partner with as well, because they were always kind of considered to be on the early kind of bleeding edge of the high end of the kind of platform tool adopters. They had that app store for years, way before there was an iTunes app store. There was a TradeStation app store. So you could actually come in and build your own front end, build your own functionality, whatever you wanted, a scanner, and actually make it available on the TradeStation platform. So they've always kind of been, I think, looking for the cutting edge on that kind of stuff. So that's an interesting partnership with you guys. Now, are you guys kind of one option? A user can come in, they could choose to use, the TT options platform. Maybe they choose to stick with the kind of native TradeStation tools. How does that work? Or are you guys the default for everybody who trades options?
We're the default for anybody who trades options on futures. So if you want to trade options on futures through TradeStation, you're going to be using a TT screen to do it. I know that they have several other trading applications, which this partnership could expand over time. But certainly, if you're looking to trade options on futures through TradeStation, you're going to do it with our tools.
I guess that's a vote of confidence in the tools there, because TradeStation, they are pretty discerning when it comes to their tools. So I guess that's a compliment for you and your team there, Bernie at TT. I know you've been doing some other partnerships. I think Nissan Security is expanding overseas. What other partnerships you guys been working on? It's been a very fluid space in the years that you guys since you've last been on. Obviously, we've seen a lot of acquisitions in the space. Vela acquired half the firms in the space, so it's been interesting to see what other kind of deals and partnerships are you guys working on over there.
Oh, I don't know if I can go into details about what other kind
it's
of
just
deals
you
we're
and me
working
talking
on.
Here, Bernie. Nobody
else is listening. We've got a bunch of possibilities with larger customers and with the exchanges themselves that we've been working on. And I think if I say more than that, I'm going to get in trouble with my boss. So I better not.
That's what we're here for. Here to get into a little trouble here, Bernie. Just me and you talking. But, it's interesting. Other functionality you guys have been rolling out, too. Speaking to that institutional audience, you guys are kind of, I know you rolled out a new OMS recently for a lot of the players out there. That's another area where you guys are kind of getting up to speed, I think, a little bit. Was that another area where you guys felt, hey, we kind of need to play a little catch up? Is that why you're rolling it out? And what was some of the thought process behind it? And what are you guys bringing to the table there? That's obviously another very competitive area, the institutional OMS crowd. What do you guys bring in that's unique to that front?
Yeah, I mean, as to why we got it, why we announced why we announced TTOMS, why I'm moving in that direction, it's just a massive opportunity that we never explored before. And for whatever reason, over the last 20 years, the TT has been focused on the end user, not as much on the middle office and back office. And this is just a fantastic opportunity for us. We have a number of partners who have asked for this. We have the reason that the time is right now is it's easy for, I won't say easy, nothing is easy to develop, but certainly we have the capabilities to innovate quickly and make changes quickly with this platform. And as we continue to develop this OMS and deliver it to our partners, we're going to be able to make improvements and changes and very, very quickly, far more quickly than we could using our old heavy client install.
And I think, Bernie, over the last few months, the vast majority of people who've sat in that chair have been on the crypto front. So I think I'm legally obligated to ask you guys about crypto. I know this is an area that's near and dear to your hearts over there at TT. What do you guys have cooking in the crypto realm? And maybe how does that spill into what you're doing on the option side as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. And you and I were talking a little bit before we turned on the switch here about possibility of options on cryptocurrencies and why isn't the SIBO and why aren't the CME doing this? We are, there are a couple of exchanges on which options are supported. They're very goofy options in the crypto space. They're unusual. So it's exciting to learn about them. We're looking to connect to more exchanges and to allow users to arb across exchanges when it comes to crypto. When it comes to options on crypto, I can't tell you how exciting that is. I mean, just the volatility alone in those instruments is, it makes me miss trading. That's for sure.
It is kind of sad then to have watched it go from 20,000 to about 6 now and not have a single listed option on the price. You can go OTC, of course, but how great would it have been to have a few puts over that time frame there, Bernie? That would have been fascinating. So it sounds like you're in the same camp as us. You're not hearing any secret whispers that we're not hearing, Bernie, about options are coming. They're just lying to us here. Nothing you're hearing over there.
Nothing I've heard, but I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't be listed at some point. I don't have any inside info.
I know you're an options guy, so you probably lean the same way I do. I'm much more interested in the options, but I'm curious, TT, obviously, originated in the futures space. Is your firm, you think, maybe more interested? We're hearing some rumblings about maybe new futures coming first, like an Ether, like a Litecoin, Ripple, all that stuff. Would that be more exciting to you guys, or are you maybe like me? You're much more excited about the options coming?
Well, I am personally excited about the options, of course. The new listings and any new coins that get listed, of course, we're going to support them. I can't say that's necessarily exciting, except that perhaps it drives volume, it drives interest in the space itself. For TT, yeah, we'll support all of that. Anything that gets listed, we're going to give it to you. We'll put it on the screen. You guys go ahead and trade it. In terms of excitement, no, I want the options.
Are you as surprised, I should say, as I am? Back in the fury, the frenzy around Bitcoin, back in Q4 of last year, Q1 of this year, when it was hovering around 20,000, everyone and their grandmother was talking about Bitcoin. We were taking a lot of polls of our audience, and everyone was super gung ho that options would be next. They'd be coming really soon. The vast majority of our audience predicted they'd be listed by the end of Q1. Clearly, we're in Q4 here. I seem like a laggard. I picked Q2. I seem like I was a distant pessimist, and then here we are in Q4, and no sign of any options coming in the near future. Has that been as much of a surprise to you as it was to me and a lot of our audience that we really haven't seen these listed products yet?
It has been. I'm surprised at the lack of listing of any derivatives really in crypto. Both from the major exchanges. Yeah, it is surprising to me. I thought they would certainly have a few more coins by this point, and some baskets to offer. CME, it seems like has a fantastic opportunity there. It is a surprise to me.
The other thing that's kind of surprised me about the crypto space, and we'll be done with crypto, I promise. But that's it's been fascinating. Like I said, so many people have come in here and sat in that chair who are long-time derivatives traders who are now been lured to the dark side of crypto, and to see the impact on so many established Chicago derivatives firms and traders and people has been really fascinating to watch, and kind of the melding of these two mindsets of kind of, let's say, the more tech-oriented, maybe somewhat not optimistic, but very enthusiastic, let's say, tech, crypto crowd. And then there may be the more pragmatic financial services trading risk management mindset of the Chicago trader. And now that Chicago has become I think the de facto mecca for crypto trading these days. Seeing these two mindsets kind of come together has been fascinating to watch, and what comes out of it. Sometimes they clash. Sometimes they do. Maybe the trading mindset brings the crypto guy a little bit down to earth. Maybe the crypto guy makes the trading guy get his head out of his screens a little bit. So maybe there's a little bit of benefit to both. But it has been fascinating to watch. Has it been fascinating to you? And you were as surprised as I am too that Chicago has just taken to crypto just fanatically over the past 18 months or so. This has morphed into the crypto trading mecca.
Yeah, and but you gave two examples there of the trading guys bringing the crypto guys back down to earth, and the crypto guys lifting up the trading guys. I think it's much more the former. I think we're seeing a whole lot more I'll say regular trading, even though that's hard to define. But standardization of crypto trading, and certainly because some of the excitement has died down and we're off those massive highs in January. Excuse me. Certainly there's been a whole lot more normalization of the trade, and I certainly think that's going to continue. I can't imagine that this space is going to be the Wild West for much longer. I see more regulation coming and more standardization.
Does seem to lean that way. You mentioned the sell-off. Have you seen a little bit of a tamping down in interest from? I'm sure back in January, your guys' forums were ringing off the hook saying, "Forget options, just get me crypto functionality, crypto." Have you seen that die down a little bit now that Bitcoin has seemingly at least stabilized for the near term around the 6,000 level?
Without a doubt, massively. Whether it's phone calls or whether it's interest at trade shows, it's. I don't want to say the interest has fallen off a cliff, but clearly with this pullback from those highs, and we've seen a whole lot less interest. Now, to be fair, that's really a lot less interest from individuals and from retailish or halfway in between customers. The interest on the institutional side is still there. There's no doubt that it's still a viable trade. It's still a viable asset class, at least for now. So in terms of so our larger customers and institutional trading, the interest is still there. From individuals, absolutely gone to near zero.
You're right. That's kind of what we're seeing anecdotally as well. The institutions are still super gung-ho on all things crypto, and now that the volatility has stabilized, the price action has stabilized a little bit in Bitcoin at least, it does seem to have tamped a little bit actually of the enthusiasm. Well, Bernie, I'm glad we can get you on. It's been fun to kind of catch up on all things options over there at TT. It has been a number of years. We'll have to do it more frequently next time so we can kind of catch up as opposed to having to go back and cover many, many years worth of development in about 20 odd minutes. But that said, we covered a lot of things, a lot of areas, a lot of product, a lot of functionality you guys have created since the last time we chatted with you. But if there's something you left out, Bernie, or maybe you want to leave our audience with a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a tease of what's coming down the pike from you guys and the options team over there at TD. Now is the time, sir. The floor is yours.
Really, what's coming is more innovation. Really, what's coming is the ability to do more with options. I think a lot of us, and I include myself in that group, heavily in this group, are stuck in an old sort of market making mentality when it comes to options. Coming from the floor and trading on the screen. I'm used to trading that way. I think there's a whole lot more out there that we can do. In terms of automated capabilities, algorithmic capabilities, that's what you're going to see in 2019 and beyond from TT.
Well, Bernie, I'm glad to get you back in and get a little bit of a glimpse of the TT options functionality. Like I said, we'll have to get you back on more frequently than once every 3 to 4 years so we can see what's going on. We're looking forward to seeing how all this functionality, including all these new partnerships, play out in the marketplace in the coming months, Bernie.
Thanks very much.
Great, thank you. And thank you for listening to Options Insider Radio. And we'll see you for more interviews really soon.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/The Options Insider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.